just want to talk.
Welcome to We Just Want to Talk. I'm Debbie.
And I'm Mariam, and all we want to do is talk about Tegan and Sara.
Okay. So, I don't know how to start.
I'm so nervous.
I'll do it. Hello, everyone. How have you been? This is another episode of We Just Want to Talk, and it's been a while, I suppose. Today we have a special episode. I mean, I say that every time, but today is extra special because you will hear my reaction. Yeah, of listening to the Audible Under My Control, the Tegan and Sara podcast. Is it a podcast? The Words and Music podcast.
It's a
Special
series
guest.
of I have it written down.
We're getting confused. Yeah.
It's the volume 38 for Audible's podcast series Words and Music, and then it's called Under My Control.
Yes, and it's one of my favorite songs of all time. We have three special guests actually. Jess and Rosie, we have met before. You have been on this podcast before. Hello. And first timer, Julia.
Thanks so much for being here.
Hi, Julia. This is the first time we talk, you and I, and I'm very happy that you're on the podcast.
Me too. My dreams are coming true today.
We're all going to listen to the podcast
Yeah.
Under My Control together and then live react to it.
Yeah.
Who here already listened? I did once.
I listened 3 times.
I listened once.
She listened once.
I listened
Julia?
once.
I
Okay,
haven't
Mariam.
listened. No, haven't
So
listened.
Mariam is it's the first time.
But before that, Julia, would you like to tell us about how you became a Tegan and Sara fan and
I always love this part.
all
Yes,
that?
I actually like to tell the story.
All right.
I saw them in a magazine. It was when the con was out and they had their faces to the side with the paint down. And they were playing at ACL in 2008 in Austin. And I wanted to go see them while we waited for Foo Fighters to come on. Well, I never went to watch the Foo
Oh,
Fighters. I
Foo
watched the
Fighters.
entire
Yeah.
I watched the entire Tegan and Sara set. And what really got me was during the song, it might have been, I don't know what song they were playing before. Maybe it was Where Does a Good Go? I'm not sure.
We're getting confused. Yeah.
Sara said that they were born without a sucking reflex and to do with that what you will.
I'm so suspicious.
And I was like, they are
I remember
hilarious.
this banter.
Yeah.
This banter was banned from YouTube. Do you know that?
No,
Yeah.
but that's what made me a fan. And then shortly after that, that was in October, a few months later in February 2009, I traveled to Vancouver to see them. And I met Tegan outside of a bar.
I'm so suspicious.
She bummed a cigarette from me and she was a little drunky. And I was like, hi, I'm Julie. And she was like, hi, I'm Tegan. And I was like, hi. So and then I've met some of my very best friends in the whole world through Tegan and Sara. And one of my BFFs said to please give her a shout out. So shout out to my best friend, Kirsty. She
Yay.
listens to
Shout
the
out.
podcast.
Shout out. I'm sorry for the cat. Hold on.
The
Stormy
cat
was
is giving a
shouting out
shout
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, love my cat.
Sorry.
Let's go back to Julia. Sorry. Yeah.
Did you
from
say where you're
Houston.
from? Houston,
Houston.
Texas.
Yes.
And are you a
Texas
teamer or a
is the
cider?
birthplace of, listen, I have a history with this.
Can't wait to hear.
I loved Tegan. That was it. Then Statehood came out. And then Sara had that, I don't know, she was very
Fringe and
I
dark.
loved Sara. And then so there was quite a few years that I was like, who cares about Tegan? I love Sara.
Who cares?
But then it switched. Now I love them both and I think they should both be my best friends.
Right.
But if I had to pick one, I don't want to pick anymore because I like them both very differently for different reasons.
Yeah.
Being right is important.
Mm.
But I will say I have a really big affection towards Tegan just for what she does for my baby. So, I appreciate her for that.
Nice. Do we have any more questions that do you have a favorite song?
On directing,
On directing. Rosie, did you want to say
Yeah.
something?
I think my two favorite ones are Under My Control and Where's the Good Grow.
Oh, I think
Ooh.
you're talking about like the reimagined ones
Yeah.
on this
Oh,
on
we're gonna,
Audible. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm sure we'll get to that more too.
yeah, we're gonna make sure that everyone talks about their the songs and stuff.
right. Debbie says I'm going to cry. Listen to this. So if I cry, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. We welcome
Yeah,
crying.
don't be sorry about that.
You're a crybaby.
We all
You're a
cry.
crybaby.
I am a
Yeah.
crybaby, actually. I am a known crybaby.
True that. Word.
It was
All
very
right.
emotional. For Tegan and Sara news, last time that we recorded or posted was November 2nd. So it has been almost a month. And since then, Tegan and Sara were on Canada's Drag Race for the first episode of the new season. They sent out an email for the Zoom that's happening for the t-shirt subscription participants. It's on January 7th. They received honorary doctorate degrees on November 26th in Calgary from the University of Calgary. Congratulations, Tegan and Sara.
Congratulations. We can finally call you
Um,
Dr. Sara Quinn and Dr.
Yeah,
Tegan Quinn.
that's crazy.
Thank you, Sara. Thank you, Tegan.
I know.
The song "You Wouldn't Like Me" was featured on Scott Pilgrim's animated
Oh, yeah.
series.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in the credits.
Yeah.
Mommy,
Sara was
listen to
featured. Oh yeah. Wait, but listen, was it a show or?
We're getting confused. Yeah.
It's a show, but I didn't care to watch the show, so I just skipped to the ending. And I watched the
Oh,
last little bit and then watched the credits because I was showing them, right?
Yeah.
Showing you and
Cool.
Daddy.
Yeah.
cool. Was it just like the regular song from So
Yeah.
Jealous?
It was just the original recording and it was just in the credits of that episode. I guess there's different credit music in each episode of that show.
Yeah, it's funny. The same song was played on, was it Heartstopper?
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah,
think so.
You Wouldn't
Yeah.
Like Me Everywhere.
Mhm.
Sara was featured on a book about sadness called Sad Happens by Brendan Stosny.
Staussy.
Tegan and
I
Sara.
want that book because I like some of the other people in it too.
Yeah.
But I do wish that it was longer, her section.
Yeah,
but
Her part.
her.
it's
Mhm.
still
Because
really,
I remember.
really cool.
Did you already get it? And it's
No.
coming? Oh.
No.
Oh, it's on your list. You told me it's on
It's
your
on my
list. Yeah.
list. I told people that I wanted the book. So we'll see if they get it.
Cool. Tegan and Sara were featured on Noise for Now, Volume 1, which was abortion access. So it's a benefit compilation for abortion access. So if you buy, it's a vinyl for Record Store Day. If you buy the vinyl, essentially you're donating for abortion access. And the song from Tegan and Sara is Under My Control on this vinyl. Quote unquote, Tegan Queen went to the 2023 Gotham Awards for high school. It was not Tegan. It was Sara. But
Yeah.
if you search online, it says Tegan Queen because Sara told them it was Tegan, but it wasn't. It was herself. That was November
And she
27th.
looked absolutely fabulous.
Yes.
She did.
And it's funny because like I looked at the pictures and then I was like, she kind of looks like Tegan, but
No,
they're
No.
twins.
she
Yeah.
looks like Mom Sarah. She looks like her mom, and her mom. She looks like Sonia now. She even sounds like Sonia.
Kinda.
Yeah.
On December 1st, they released the Under My Control podcast for Audible. And then now I have a few things that I wanted to say. So on December 11th, today is December 7th. On the 11th, it's the first anniversary of our podcast. We Just Want to Talk. It's 1 year old. Yay!
Happy birthday!
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday!
Thank you.
And this is the 21st episode.
Whoa.
So
We
yeah.
lasted, Debbie.
Yeah, for 1
That's
year,
great.
21 episodes, that's a big accomplishment. I wanted to mention the Tegan and Sara archive because the last episode, it was about the fandom and we didn't mention it at all. And I felt so bad, like,
Really?
afterwards.
We did not?
We didn't at all. Isn't that crazy?
I'm pretty sure we did. I always
We didn't.
mention. Oh,
We
maybe you cut
forgot.
it off. Oh, okay.
I didn't. We forgot. But so I
No.
wanted to mention Kenzie, who
It's
does
it's a
it's
huge part of our podcast.
it's a huge
the
part of the
archive.
fandom
Yeah.
and the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, just the
And
Tegan and
shout
Sara
out
world.
to Claire again, once and again,
Mhm.
and always
Yeah, we're
for
gonna continue next year, thanks to Claire for
having us,
gifting us the Zoom
Zoom
subscription.
subscription.
And I'm going to ask the listeners to rate the podcast on, like, I don't know if you can do it on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I don't know. But whenever I listen to other people's podcasts, they always say that if you rate, it helps to reach other people. So
Yeah.
why not?
All right, let me ask 9B, if you're listening to the
And-
podcast, do something important and rate the podcast at least, not just listen.
And subscribe too.
And
Because I don't know
subscribe.
if people just listen and forget to, like, actually follow us. So please do it. And that's
I'll
it
try to
for-
follow. I'll try to follow us. And subscribe
Okay.
and rate.
Did you?
I just followed us. I mean, you.
Isn't that funny? Like, you
I
listen to
joined
the
in.
podcast, but you forget to, like, actually, like,
I've
subscribe.
never watched an episode of the podcast. All right, and I've always
Fake fan.
forget.
You what?
I'll do it
Y'all were on my
eventually.
top 4.
Wait, was it on your
podcast.
top 4? That's amazing.
Yeah,
'Cause you
Was
listen
my
on
first, was my
Spotify?
top one.
I
On
listen on
Spotify.
Spotify.
I never listen to podcasts on Spotify, so
That's the thing. I
Or
listen to
actually
podcasts
rarely.
I listen to them on Apple Podcasts, like my
No,
podcasts.
I listen on Spotify, but I don't use Spotify for music. That's the thing. So
Yeah.
I don't remember Spotify.
Yeah, that's okay. Just maybe subscribe if you haven't yet, because that helps.
No, bad idea.
Fine, I'll do it now. I wanted to rate the show and tells me to listen to the show. Only listeners to the show can rate it. Oh my God, I'm such a failure.
You have
I
to be a
haven't listened.
subscriber, okay?
I followed. How do I subscribe? I followed.
Oh, I think it's just follow.
If I
I think
rate
you
the
have
show.
to listen to it. Mine says only listeners can rate. So I haven't listened to it on Spotify yet.
Fast
so I
forward to
can't
the
rate.
last bit and then let it finish.
Exactly.
just like Jess did with the
That's just what
Pilgrim.
I
I
did
actually
with
listen
Cocktails.
on Spotify, so I will rate.
Okay. I don't know if
Okay.
I guess you can rate on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I
Apple,
wonder if
yeah.
people listen on Apple Podcasts. Anyway.
Yes.
5 stars.
5 stars. Of
It's
course.
funny. I think I wonder if people are gonna rate less than 5.
Who are those jerks? If they rate
I don't know,
less-
maybe, but the thing is, if you rate less than 5 stars, please DM me and let me know what things we should change about it, because I rarely get any feedback. All the feedback so far were positive, so I have no idea how to improve.
Yeah.
So
You welcome feedback, but
yes,
just
please.
giving
Don't be
low
rude,
star
though.
rating is not helpful, really.
Yeah.
Be
Exactly.
add constructive criticism, not
Yes.
destructive. So
Not destructive.
exactly.
I really liked the ones where you guys talked about the fandom and then talked about the the things what people were saying they didn't like about Tegan and Sara. I just
All
thought-
the
I like
unpopular opinions.
Yeah.
yeah, the one about the fandom I really enjoyed.
Silence
But
is
I was
good.
gonna say that I selected a few more audio reactions to add.
True that. Word.
I loved them.
Okay, I love the audio
Oh,
reaction.
by the way, my students gave me a feedback about the podcast. They told me that
Oh,
we should add audio reactions. I was like, oh
yes.
yeah, Debbie's on it.
I'm so
Angels.
impressed.
I'm
Thank
absolutely
you.
stunned.
I was
I
like,
love it so much.
and they were
Thanks so
like,
much for being here.
Thanks so much for being here. Don't you know what your podcast sounds like? I was like, no.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
We're gonna start now.
All right, shall we begin?
Yes.
I'm Tegan.
And I'm Sara, and you've been listening to Under My Control.
I think, like everything else in our career, the sound of our band. We were signed in America, we were on tour in America, and we had an album out in America. And nobody gave a fuck.
Promise me you'll always stay.
Yay! Oh, that was nice. That was a nice version. I want it though. I'm pretty sure they're going to post them. I think we're gonna be able to buy them. I'm
I
pretty
think
sure.
it's
I
gonna
hope
come
so.
out. I think
hope
it's
so.
gonna come out.
Yeah.
Separately.
Yeah.
But I do like how if you have Audible, you can just go through and listen to those
And play.
tracks.
Yeah.
Like I've done that in the car a couple times. I skipped
Except
the
they're
other
only
chapter.
out in North America. That's the thing. In America and
Right.
Canada.
I know.
Yeah.
That's the thing though, when you do like these exclusive
Because it's a series from Audible, and I guess all
it's
of
an
the
Audible series.
episodes.
It's just like how when they did that Smashing Pumpkins cover, it's only on Amazon Music
Amazon.
because that was
Yeah.
an Amazon show.
Yeah.
Which makes sense from the corporation standpoint. Like they want people to sign up, so it's like, oh, you want to have access to this, but yeah, and then not having it available internationally, but I don't know.
Yeah. Hopefully, I hope that the songs like themselves are in streaming platforms eventually.
Yeah.
I hope they put out the songs like in something other than streaming. I like to buy actual,
That would be nice, like a vinyl.
like a vinyl or I don't know, some
CD
sort of,
or
like if they should do like another greatest hits type collection or something. I don't know, or greatest hits reimagined. And
I think they're going to do that with a documentary. I think so.
Oh yeah,
Like
there's a
another get
documentary
along
coming
type
out.
thing.
Yeah, I hope so.
Oh,
let me just
Yeah.
introduce.
Comment.
We just listened to the first part of the podcast and the song My Number. So now we have our comments. Go ahead, Mariam.
Yeah. It was a bit hard for me to tell the difference between their voices. Now I feel like
I was
their
gonna say
their
that.
voices are matching. I'm not sure if it's Sarah's voice has gotten deeper or Tegan's voice has gotten softer because
But it's almost
they
because it sounds like they're whispering almost. So it's like
no,
it's
but
not, their pitch is a little bit.
it's been happening a lot lately. Their voices
Yeah.
have been, I
You
guess,
mean
because
their-
Tegan
their
stopped
speaking
smoking.
voices?
Yeah, speaking
Okay.
voices.
Okay.
Tegan has stopped smoking, so basically, I suppose maybe that her voice is softer than before. Like if you go back and listen to their interviews during the con era and even Sainthood, Sarah's voice was very like soft, and then Tegan's voice was very raspy, but now the voices kind of match.
Yeah, I think Sarah's voice used to be more a little
High
nasally.
pitched.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
There was
So
more
it's
of a-
Sarah's voice. That's gotten deeper. Yeah, that's true.
I wonder if
Um,
maybe they purposely try to make their voices a little bit different from each other sometimes, because sometimes it's very clear who is who.
I think it's
Like you said,
Also,
this time
like,
it was
when-
a little harder at the beginning.
when you're recording an audio thing and you're preparing for it and it's like produced, just like when they did their audio book for high school and then junior high, I think that obviously like Sarah's got a voice that she uses on those, I feel like, and it's different slightly than when
No,
talking in person or in the banter.
here's the
on
thing. Junior high also confused me. I was very confused with the voices, the
Really?
audio.
I wasn't.
I was
Yeah,
very
well,
Junior high, I
confused.
wasn't.
Yeah,
But
that's
with
what I'm
high
saying.
school,
I think her voice, I think
I was
Sarah's
not.
voice sounds like richer
Yeah.
and deeper on these
Yeah.
like audiobooks.
And the way that she speaks
Mm-hmm.
to Sid basically gets us back to her original, like
Well, but that's her
you
mom
know,
voice. That's
that's
different.
her mom voice. And by the way,
Yeah.
someone mentioned that she sounds like Sonia, and yes, she sounds exactly
Oh,
like Sonia. Yeah.
I was
And she's
gonna
like,
say
yeah,
that,
I do.
like, for this podcast, I think that they switch, like, after a while when they're talking, I'm like, oh, okay, this is Sarah. But I feel
Yeah.
like they
Yeah.
go back and forth quicker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
it's just like a phrase of 3 words, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, that wasn't the person who was just talking just now. And then they
Exactly.
go back to,
Yeah.
like, let's say Tegan is talking, and then Sarah says
Also,
something quickly, and then goes back to Tegan, and my brain is like, wait, like,
exactly.
that wasn't Tegan for like 4 words.
Here's the thing. I
If they
noticed that
laugh,
Tegan
though, you can
has
kind
a,
of tell.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
laughing, definitely.
Yeah.
Tegan has more of a Canadian, like her Canadian accent is clearer, by the way.
You
Some
think
of the
so?
words, yeah. Some of the words
Really?
are truly Canadian.
I
Like
have
Guys,
to
focus on
pay
them.
I'm sure
attention.
they work with like a vocal coach to
They
like
do. They
prepare
do.
for like audio
Audio
books.
stuff.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
think.
That makes sense.
You know,
But Tegan has an accent. I mean, it's getting thicker lately. Their Canadian accents are getting thicker lately. But
That's
I've
funny.
noticed it right now.
Mhm.
All right.
Let me see if I have
Another
any more notes. Oh, go ahead.
All right. I like that they're both fans of each other because we always say that Sarah isn't like sweet and you know how she was like how Tegan's you know music or songs made her the hair on her arm like stand and that was
Yeah,
sweet
I
too.
wrote something similar
Spice
too
or
about it.
something.
How it's sweet,
Um,
how they talk about each other's writing
yeah.
and
So
like
it's
their
like they're
first
fans of
songs.
each other.
Yeah,
one thing
yeah.
about
I know that.
this version of my number that I really like is this is kind of music geeky, but in the first pre-chorus, you know, Tegan doesn't go up as high. She stays like lower.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think she did that. Julia, do you remember? I think she did that in Austin when they performed.
I think so. I have it recorded. It's on my
Okay.
TikTok. I'm
'Cause
pretty
I
sure.
Watch my neck and watch the ground. It's silly time to learn to swim when it starts to drown.
I think she didn't go up, and I was like, oh, I loved that. Like, but I just liked how she like stayed low and didn't go up. And then she does go up
Mhm.
higher in that part in the when it repeats again later in the song. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I love little like changes like that.
Changes. Yeah, I was gonna say that it's the same version as that they've been playing in the concerts, but I didn't. I have to listen back and try to listen to what you're saying because I thought it was just the same as the shows, but I guess it's still a little bit different than how she sang
Usually
during like
she
most
goes,
concerts, I guess.
Usually she goes like, watch ahead and watch the ground.
yeah, and it's like that little like flare thing. I don't know. She
Yeah.
goes up higher. But yeah, I just like that she stayed lower in that part. And I remembered that happened at the live performance in
Yeah,
Austin.
I'll have to go back to that. But I was gonna say that it sounds like they're just in their living room singing with the guitar, like so intimate. I love that.
And then that's what Sarah was talking about when she's talking about recording their first album. She's like, we were just like in the living room, like playing
and in our mom's house and like messing around and the beginning is a lot like high school when high school begins, how they describe that they're from Calgary and the prairie and all of that. It reminded me of that. All right, shall we listen?
Continue.
Does anyone want to add anything?
No, I already said all the things I wrote down.
Okay.
We flew to New York to do David Letterman, and the band backed us up. Paul Schaefer called my house like or not by saying folk. That's what they were saying. And I think If It Was You was an aggressive attempt to shake that off.
My windows look into your living room. Spend the night, then I lose my mind.
If they played this next year,
That's
I'm
what I
going to
wondered.
die.
Are these like previews of of like some of the fan favorite reimagined things that
I
they're gonna
believe
do
I
I
acoustically?
hope
believe
so
I
because
believe so.
they're beautiful.
I know.
And I think
Did you
it's
guys,
going to
did
be on
anybody go to the
TV.
Con X?
No, only
No.
you.
Their
Okay,
voices were easier to tell apart this time. Yes?
Yeah.
oh yeah,
A little
definitely.
bit, especially when Sarah starts kind of like making little remarks and commentary, and her voice goes higher. Like it
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
like
When she gets excited, it sounds, her
yeah.
voice goes up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is the beginning.
and
Just
she's
going
like,
to
that's
say,
not scary at all. Like that whole part
and
about
she has a lisp. She has a lisp too. So
Yeah. Let me see what I wrote down. So the part that they said that he said that like he didn't care that they were queer, right? And I like for sure because of that, because they said like imagine if he had told them, no,
can't
don't tell
be.
that, yeah, don't tell them
Yeah.
to anyone, or like you shouldn't say that because that affects how people perceive you or whatever. And then they didn't do that, and I think that that has a huge effect on how they were so authentic from the beginning, except for the part that they couldn't tell people that touring was sucked.
I want to mention something regarding that. So basically, their journey is a bit like they said, it's isolated and it's lonely. And what made them go through it and have this independence is actually having the codependence on each other for help. Like the sleeping on the Greyhound, that's very dangerous. 1 a.m. walking in the early 2000s, no cell phones still. I mean, with basically, I mean, tiny girls basically walking at midnight or sleeping on the train or the metro or whatever. That's a bit dangerous, and I think someone else wouldn't have um kind of continued this. Like they would have quit probably if they were on their own, but being together, I think that was what kept them together throughout this journey, because their fame didn't come easily, and it's still not easy for them. Like it took a while, but I think that's what gave them longevity, because basically, I don't know, they took baby steps, but these baby steps helped them reach where they have wanted. And another point I wanted to make is when Sarah said I was hysterically sobbing during the flight. And that was funny to me because like I can't imagine Sarah crying, but then again, she's a crybaby. Like exactly. So like that was nice to hear. Any comments?
Anyone else?
yeah, I just wanted to say I like how they talk about Elliot Roberts so much.
Mm-hmm.
The grandpa?
And
Is that the grandpa? Because I forgot.
no, Neil Young is
Young.
their grandpa. I love that so much. Also, I'm very sad because I saw Neil Young in 2003, but not in 2001 when that tour was.
No
So
way.
I missed it. Yeah, I missed it by like a year and a half. So
Whoa.
I
Oh,
also
wow.
I think that
You
tour,
saw them in like 2003
I saw them
and
in
2?
2002 and 2000.
Yes, so you're winning
Yeah.
here.
I know, but I do wish that I would have seen.
Yeah, for sure.
I love Neil Young. Like I love Neil Young. That's one of the shows that I went to with my dad right after high school. So I always thought it was so cool that that gave them more, like the more I learned about them early on and how they were signed on his record label and stuff, I was like, ooh, I love them even more because I'm not even a giant Neil Young fan now, but I really was like in high school and grew up listening to Crosby, Stills and Nash and Young and a lot of
Me
Neil
too.
Young. Yeah. So, and then the other thing, this version of Living Room is so good.
Yeah.
It's so moody and like atmospheric. And I love Tegan's voice in it and how there's like those squeaks in her voice. It's such a beautiful version. That's all
I
I
feel like
want.
it has a lot of emotion.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I love this version for sure. It's one of my favorites from this batch.
So I have two things. First thing is, so I work in hospice. And so I'm not a nurse, hospice nurse, but we do have hospice nurses and I have to talk to them. And I was talking to one of my hospice nurses the other day and I was like, where are you from? And she was like, Canada. I was like, oh, I thought I heard Canada in your accent, but where are you from? She said, I'm from Calgary. I said, oh, my favorite band is from Calgary. She goes, oh, who is that? I said, Tegan and Sara. She goes, oh, I'm a few years older than them. We didn't go to the same high school, but I've seen them play a whole lot. Their old stuff is so good. And I was like, I hate you. I hate you because you got to see them and what they're talking about now, basically. And I think that's really cool. My second thing is, could you imagine if they were told, like, kind of going back to that, if they were told not to come out, like, not to say, yes, I'm gay, what their career would have been like, how different it would be, and would we even all be here right now, you know?
No, here's the thing. No.
I thought it was so cool when they've shared that thing that Elliot Roberts had said before in interviews.
Yeah.
And I think I've heard Sara say it before. Like he was just sort of like, well, are you gay? So okay, talk about it. Like that whole like cares whatever thing.
And it was a hard time. It was the early 2000s that was and basically if like in America, terrible.
Yeah, and they even said that like maybe if he had said like, oh no, you shouldn't, maybe they would have gone against it and still do it, but we would never know. But I'm glad that like that didn't happen because they were able to create community. And
I'm so glad that they were able to actually be themselves, because that's how we got to know them. That's how we got to fall in love with them.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, it's not because of their sexuality. Of course, they're talented and they're funny and they're charming and all of that. But you need people that can make you feel good about yourself when you listen to them speaking, singing, all of that, the experiences that they've had, even though you're like you live in a different continent, different culture, all of that, but still you share this part or this special experience that people around you do not really share. So it's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, shall we?
Yep.
I always talked very surface level about potential, something that is so that is about a ghost. Okay, can you criticize me if I read about a ghost? No matter which way you go,
Yay! I love this version. It might be the only version I like. Just kidding. I like the others. I like the others, but I like this one stood out to me because Walking with a Ghost is not a song that I go for like usually. But this version I love.
But what was your initial response to how it sounded? You said it sounded recorded, like remember what you said?
It sounds
Weird.
low quality.
You said, but no, I loved it. I truly love this version.
No, I love this version, and like her voice does a little bit of like an echo.
Yeah, I love that. Echoey.
And
I love
the guitar, like the first bit, I was already like, whoa, this is different, and I love it. Like from the beginning.
Yeah, and it got me back to it was just like I went through like my life. Like last year at this time I was doing this, and then December 2021 I was doing this, and then December 2020 I was doing this, and I kept like remembering, and I was like, what the hell? Why is a song making me remember everything and like how far I've come? I don't know.
So it's like nostalgic for you.
Yeah, it's nostalgic because I used to listen to this song when I was 19, call me.
Call me.
So
Yeah, but what they said, I feel like there's nothing to add because most of it we already knew. I don't think I wrote anything down.
I wrote, here's the thing. Something that caught my attention was when Tegan mentioned, basically now that we focus on our families, like separate from one another. Like she used the word families, and I'm like, is Tegan having a child? That's what's going on. Like I
No.
keep on thinking about that.
Oh, I was gonna say about that version of Walking with a Ghost. It sounded when Debbie mentioned, oh, is this poor quality? I listened to it in the car and I feel like it sounded the best in my car stereo.
Okay.
Better than my headphones, better than the speaker.
Maybe I'll try again, like maybe with the speakers.
Yeah, and I haven't listened on my really fancy speakers on my Bluetooth.
Oh yeah, let me know about that.
I should listen on there too.
Yeah.
You should play it out there. But I just love how spooky it sounds and echoey.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I am pretty sure, guys, that we're gonna get a CD. I think from the If It Was You tour. It's going to be all these reimagined songs plus those. I'm pretty sure, just like the Con X kind of.
That would be
and
amazing.
I hope so.
Yeah, because If It Was You is my second favorite. I mean, it was my first favorite, but Crybaby wins.
It's my favorite.
So,
Yeah.
If It Was You and Crybaby, I'm like,
yeah, for me too. Although they are not really treating Not Tonight as the Con X tour, because at the time it was all about like the 10th anniversary
That's
of the
true.
album.
That's
and
true.
They
Yeah.
were constantly talking about it and posting about it.
Which is
Yeah.
weird because it's 2024 is the 20th anniversary of So Jealous. So are we gonna do? Are we having anything for So Jealous?
Yeah, like isn't that?
But we had a lot
Yeah,
for So
hopefully.
Jealous. We had So Jealous.
X.
That's X, and we had
There
Still
was
Jealous.
a book. Yeah,
yeah.
we have
So-
Still Jealous, which
But
is like
If It
they
Was You is very
reimagined.
underrated. Come on, and If
It
It
is,
Was
but
You basically works now.
It also is like like they were saying in this portion of Under My Control. That is the first album where they really like had more of a I don't know, they were trying to
Control
make
over production
make a
and
shift
the
and
songs.
it was like what they really wanted their band
They
to
feel
sound
like they're artists. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that was mentioned by Tegan, which was also, I guess, mentioned in high school, the book, that Sarah compares herself more to the world. She's more of an analytical person, while Tegan just like she gets happy with the
YOLO.
feedback. Yeah, and we can still see that. But here's the thing. Sarah usually shows I don't care attitude, but she's so hard on herself. And I guess Tegan just takes what she could get. And yeah, I like that this is like they recognize this in themselves, because like they said it a couple of times.
I hope they document their rehearsals for the Not Tonight tour.
They were never like that, right? Like over the years they don't usually document their process of like learning or creating. They don't usually document that kind of stuff.
I think they still are probably documenting it. Who knows what they have? But I mean, before Crybaby came out, and there were like little peaks. I felt like just photos of rehearsals and stuff.
Yeah, like the when they record albums, they do a little bit of. They did a lot in the beginning for So Jealous and for the Con, because we have DVDs, but since then, like we didn't see anything for Heartthrob or Love It to Death, or well, we did a little bit for Hey I'm Just Like You, and then Crybaby was like snips on TikTok and stuff. So hopefully,
you know what I want to see their faces more. Like I know we're in the era of podcasts, but I miss just the old interviews and like yeah, like I miss I like just to look at them speak. It's just been podcasts lately, but I want to see them.
For interviews. Yeah, they haven't done many
Yeah, no, in the
lately.
Crybaby tour, no, in the Crybaby, I mean era, no. We'll
Let's
see.
continue because we have more than half
Oh
to
God.
go.
Sarah had burrowed into herself and was really angry and really hurt by a lot of the press and by because it does reflect, I think, the different personalities of Tegan and Sara and what our band can do at the exact same time.
Where do you go with your broken heart in tow? Where's the good go? Where's the good go?
So good.
So
Wow.
good.
I was so shocked at the beginning. I didn't know it was going to be where is the good go.
Tegan's
Oh,
voice, I said this on
I
Twitter,
don't
but
know.
her voice has gotten so beautiful throughout. I mean, it's always been
Yeah,
nice, but throughout the years, her voice has just gotten so much better.
that's
Yeah, I
true.
was gonna say that for some reason I was expecting Sarah to sing, and then when it was Tegan, I was like, oh yeah, it's a Tegan song.
I like the beginning of it.
Forgot
The music just, I don't know, it was so sad.
the guitar and
Mm,
her
It's so
voice.
good.
so good.
It's
Yeah.
I wrote gorgeous, chills, crying.
Yes,
I like
Those are
how they reimagine the songs. Like really, they're so talented that they can just like completely change the sound of a
transform.
song. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. And
it's
these songs
got
just live with us.
it's got like this alt country Americana thing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which is so cool. And some of the other reimagined songs have that too. But this one is the first one where with the guitar, I'm like, oh, it's like
Yeah.
so unexpected, but so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, Tegan always talking about like her alt country songs. And then how they're like, oh, another genre, oh, a country, an alt country.
They finally do solo projects, and then Tegan's gonna be like an alt country album, maybe. You know what I mean? Or maybe an EP or something like that. That would be amazing.
But then, oh, should we talk about Grey's Anatomy?
Yes.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
know.
watching Grey's Anatomy right now, and I completely forgot how many songs there are in the first 3 seasons.
I swear there's a tweet about it every day.
Yeah, every day.
People tweet about how Grey's Anatomy has so much Tegan and Sara in it. I've never watched it because I know if I start, I'm gonna become obsessed, and it's too many seasons.
It's a
Oh,
big
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
gonna
a big
waste my time
commitment.
on that. Hell no.
Oh,
I'm not going to
waste your
do
time,
that.
guys. It's worth it.
I mean,
Nah.
eventually I will. What else did they say about Grey's Anatomy?
just that it allowed them to buy apartments and
Yeah,
Yeah, we have heard that before.
yeah, and So Jealous was for sure. Actually, they put 2 songs from So Jealous on this and no Sainthood. I have beef with that, but
Should we
No,
wait,
hey, I'm
or
just
should we
they
talk
are
about
they
that
are
now?
very good versions. So I mean, I will allow.
I mean, they are gonna talk about sainthood, right? So
Yeah,
we should wait and talk about that after.
but no songs though. That's sad.
I know, disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was gonna say that So Jealous for sure was the biggest jump that they had,
Mhm.
like between albums, because like of course Heartthrob is the biggest we can say, but if social media happened at the time, Walking with a Ghost and So Jealous from If It Was You to So Jealous was huge jump.
If you've noticed, that We Didn't Like Me is featuring in a lot of shows like Heartstopper and what's the
Yeah,
something Scott's what was it called?
Scott's Pilgrim.
Pilgrims, yeah. So I think that the idea is that If It Was You, I think it can be relevant right now and it can actually make a comeback and become, trending
You
if,
Wouldn't Like Me is not from If It Was You.
Really?
No. It's from So Jealous.
We're getting confused.
Yeah.
What the hell? Why do I always confuse that? Okay, never mind then. Never mind.
Remember when you said that we were talking about the song The Ocean from Sainthood? And then Miriam said, oh yeah, this one time I saw a sticker that said, I want the ocean right now. And then I
A
was
mug,
like,
a mug.
that's
a
not the
cup.
ocean. That's So Jealous. Anyway, it's okay.
I
I
suck at
get
this.
things mixed up all the time. I fix you up, and we didn't do it all the time. I think like
Same.
I think they're the other song.
All right, let's
Okay,
go back.
let's go.
We had never taken any time off. It didn't even seem like it was possible. It seemed like to stop would mean other and apart. But, you know, the way that we've always sort of solved our problems and healed ourselves is to write more music, make more music.
Build a wall of books. I'm not faithful, but I stray. I'm not unfaithful, but I stray. I'm not unfaithful, but I stray.
Oh, that was deep.
Yep.
That's the first time they open up about this, right?
In depth like that, yeah, because
They tell us
in
the
that
entire
book,
story.
Modern Heartthrobs, the author mentions it and talks about it in detail as well, but it was never talked about it from their perspective.
Their perspective.
Yeah. So it's the first time that they opened up.
I have a question. Why wasn't Sarah happy about the way So Jealous was received?
Maybe she was expecting more? Or
but it was received well.
Yeah, but then there was so much any sort of
criticism,
any credit they got or positive stuff, it was like because like I don't know, it was because like men had like co-signed like, oh, this album is cool.
Yeah.
So there was, it was like very big Jack White.
I remember, yeah.
So,
I know what you mean right now. Yeah,
that's true.
White Stripes did that cover of Walking with a Ghost, and people were like, oh, it's a White Stripes song.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. And Sarah's already too hard on herself, and she was like even
hard on
more.
herself.
Yeah.
I feel like they're talking. They don't give a lot of context because I think they know that whoever's going to listen don't really need explanation about everything, because I feel like they talk about Amy like I don't think they explained who Amy is. They just said like, oh, I was dating Amy, and that's it.
Because
we know the history. We don't need like
I mean, come on.
Explanation.
I wondered like, oh, did she mention moving to Montreal and meeting all these people, and one of those people being Emmy?
She didn't.
And then I was like, did I miss that? And then when I re-listened, I was like, no, she didn't say that. I just sort of like filled that in because I already know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we?
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Sainthood, and I think part of what I like about it is that it's not one of our kind of inclination to do that, because I know Tegan will do it. And so when I heard Closer, I just thought, oh, thank God.
All I wanna get is a little bit closer. All I treat you like you're typical. All I wanna get is a little bit closer. All I wanna know is, can you come a little closer?
Comments?
Should we talk about Sainthood first? When Sarah was talking about Sainthood, and how it feels like very different types of songs. The way I described it when I first listened to Sainthood a lot was like, it sounds so disjointed. It sounds like
exactly. It is.
But like
disjointed.
I like that, and it feels like, kind of a conversation between them. And I do like that it's like clearly a Tegan song on Sainthood. It's clearly a Sara song on Sainthood. Like I'm
Mhm.
never when I hear a song from Sainthood, I'm never like, oh wait, was that on? If it was
Yeah.
you, we're so
Yeah,
jealous.
exactly.
Whereas
Exactly.
there are those couple songs like You Wouldn't Like Me that people get mixed up which album it was on or whatever, because there's some
Yeah.
like musically there's a lot of similarities on those two albums. And
And
Sainthood was just like such a departure, I feel like.
I love
yeah.
Sainthood. It's one of my favorite albums, and it is very clear who wrote what on there. Like Crybaby, for example, there are songs on there that you're like, what? Which one? But I think that's because they really, worked together on
They
that.
worked, collaborated.
Very
Yeah.
collaborative.
And I just listened to Love You to Death. Thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome.
And I had no idea U-Turn was a Tegan song.
So we thought it was when you listened to it, you thought it was a Sara song?
Yeah, because for some reason her part is so prominent to me in that.
Well, doesn't
And I think I
Sara
said that.
kinda
It's
sing-
also I think it's
sings
one of the
like
songs
the
where the
bridge?
chorus, it's both their song, it's both their
Yeah.
voices, so
Yeah.
it can get confusing. It's like
I don't like
I'm
U-Turn.
okay.
Miriam.
The song I'm Okay is a Tegan or a Sara song?
It's a Sara song.
Sara song.
Yeah, Sarah.
Okay.
Because but the only reason I know that for
Because
certain
she
I
said,
had an argument.
Tegan said somewhere, oh, that's a Sara
because she
song.
said
in a
it's the
comment
weirdest
or
song that
something.
Sara had ever written. That's why we know.
Yeah.
Oh.
But she does her voice on that song a couple points, it sounds like Tegan ish, and I could see Tegan singing that same song.
And the
Exactly, like
song
Pretty Shitty
sounds like a
Town.
Tegan song. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It sounds like a Tegan
Oh,
song,
you mean
which
because
is
it's
different
like,
than
it's like chaotic and like
Chaotic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing. When it comes to Crybaby, the reason that it reminds me a lot of Sainthood, but like a more I don't know, a refined Sainthood is that
No. Crybaby?
Yeah. Yes.
No.
Crybaby.
I don't
It's my opinion.
no, I'm okay with that. I was gonna say maybe I should listen to them again and then try to like figure that out.
No,
Because
here's
I
the
never
thing. I mean, it's not the same, but it reminds me of Sainthood because, well, Sara is going deep again, very, very deep, unlike Heartthrob and Love You
the
to Death.
themes, yeah.
Themes when it comes to the music, it's she's like touching, let's say, underneath the surface, but also she's producing Tegan songs too. So even Tegan songs, because of
Yeah.
Sara's production, it sounds all intact and it complements each other. That's what I
Cohesive.
believe. Cohesive.
And that's the
yeah.
first time they really wrote together was Sainthood.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
I think making the connection with Crybaby when they really were working together again, I see it.
Paperback Head was written together, by the way, and Paperback Head could easily go on Crybaby.
Yeah.
I like this song.
Yeah.
I agree.
For the record, I really like the juxtaposition of like all the songs that are Sara songs on Sainthood and Tegan songs. I like those there.
Yeah,
But
it's a
weird,
conversation, definitely.
Yeah, and
it's a conversation.
And I'm like Sara, where like if there's an unpopular album from a band, I'll be like, that's my favorite album by that band. Because, I don't know. I'm just like that.
I remember I read somewhere that like if you want to show a song, like a staple Tegan and Sara song to someone, for them to have an idea what Tegan and Sara are, they told me that the song is Hell. And then it's the first song on Sainthood. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, but I thought it was interesting that they told me that because it's a Sainthood song.
I send people usually Where Does the Good Go or I Was a Fool.
I Was a Fool is a good one.
I'd probably send somebody The Con.
The Con is a good one.
Dependent if they listen to rock, because usually it's my students and they listen to pop. So
right, but like no context. Send me one Tegan and Sara song for me to like figure it like impossible. Yeah.
No, I can't.
I would say I Was a Fool.
Right now, I would send Under My Control or All I Wanted. Right now,
Under My Control is a good one too.
Yeah. these
No,
because
I'd have
my
to.
All I
I'd have
wanted
to
is
like.
to be specific.
my
I'd have to be like,
sister
here's a song from each album. Here
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
There's one song from each
my
album.
sister
I
fell
would-
in love with my Under My Control. She was like, "Who's singing?" I was like, "Tegan and Sara." She's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I love this song." And now I'm
Has
almost
it become your
remember
favorite
what she
Tegan and
was.
Sara song, Miriam?
What?
Has Under My Control become your favorite Tegan and Sara song?
It was my favorite when Crybaby first came out, but now it's all I wanted.
Oh, but
Mm.
overall, or is it still Light Up?
Oh no, Light Up.
Hmm.
I mean, Light Up and All I Wanted, I guess, and Not
Together.
Tonight. I mean, they those three make me cry. So
True.
I
Right
mean,
now, my favorite Crybaby song is Pretty Shitty Time. I don't know. I wasn't into it for a while. And now
so
I've
good.
been listening to it on
Really? It's so
I
good.
love Pretty Shitty Time. I love it. It's
Yeah.
so good. Such a good,
Yeah.
you know.
I didn't listen to
And I
Crybaby
think it's
for-
the one I relate the most from the album.
Now I'm really listening like to 19 a lot.
Interesting.
I know.
I would
19.
like to not hear Back in Your Head.
Ever again?
No, I want to hear it live. It means a lot to me. I would like not to hear. I don't know. I haven't heard them live, so I don't care.
I would never be like, I'm okay if I never hear this song again. Like
Oh, there are a few
ever. Really?
that
Oh my goodness.
that I would be okay if they didn't play it live. Like I would switch for other songs if I could.
Yeah,
You
there's
know.
so many songs I would love to hear live.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think they should just play whatever they want, and then I'm gonna be happy.
You know, I love I'm Not Your Hero a lot. It's like one of
Yes.
my
I love
all-time
that.
favorite songs. It just means a lot to me as well. I feel like it deserved more.
Wish I could go back and go to a Love You to Death show where I've actually know the music. Oh my God, what is that song that I love from? See, I don't even really know the names of the
From Love You
songs.
to Death,
Dying to know.
White
Yeah, I'm
Knuckles,
Fine to Know.
Hang On to the Night,
Hang On to the
No.
Night is my favorite song on
100 Times.
Yes.
100 times. Yes, you told us. True.
Okay.
I need to hear it live.
We need to talk about Heartthrob and Closer.
No, they're gonna talk about it now though.
No, but we didn't really talk about Closer, and we just listened to that.
I mean,
Oh,
come
the
on, it's
song you
Closer.
mean?
Yeah. Oh,
I
Oh,
would
I
say
already did.
it was the most
like we
underwhelming
don't
for
have to
me.
say anything about it.
I didn't. This is my least favorite out of the songs that I listened to so far. Even though
It's
I love
Allie's
Closer.
favorite song, so I have to listen to it
Aw.
all of the time.
Yeah. Well, Closer, that's the thing about Closer, for me is that the song is so good. It's like so like they did like Tegan, but they did a really good job with it that any other cover or reinventing or
Exactly.
like
Doesn't
versions, it doesn't, for me, it will never be that, especially if they do it acoustically or slower, because it's for me, it's not a song meant to be that way.
Yeah.
So like whenever they do versions, I'm like, I just prefer the original, but I appreciate that they work on it a lot because it is the most
The special thing about
successful
Closer is
song.
Tegan's voice. When she said
Yes,
close,
exactly. Her vocals,
her vocals, the way that
her
she
vocals
speaks.
in this version are amazing.
And I
But the
remember,
instrumentation for me doesn't do much.
yeah.
No.
I mean, that's what attracted us. I mean, by saying us, my friends and I in college, it's like the way that she says closer. Like when we
Closer?
listen to the song. Yeah. And that was like very hot. Like, oh, yeah.
Did you want to say anything, Jess? You brought it up.
I like this reimagining more than the other acoustic versions of Closer I've heard. Like the live ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Obviously, there's a lot of the production of the original song is so good. Like, and it's so good live when they play it with a full band and everything. But it sounded good. I mean, but of this collection, it's one of my least favorites, but I don't even like picking least favorites because I want to be positive. But I do remember like being sort of like taken aback at the time when Closer came out, like, oh, they sound so like mainstream and so pop, and like huh? Like, what? That's Tegan and Sara. Like, I remember being very surprised, but I wasn't like mad or like, ooh, they're sellouts or something like that. And I thought it was so cool when they were like on all the late night shows, like performing that song. And I remember seeing them on Conan O'Brien and being like, oh yeah, Tegan and Sara, and like
They made it.
kind of like,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
the song, that's the album that did that for them. And for
yeah.
us as
People were
fans,
so mad about
The-
it.
Yeah, people were
well,
so mad, but I loved how
here's the
they got
thing,
over
it's
it.
a very special album for me, and like when you think Tegan and Sara, you think Heartthrob, and I still think it's like, oh, Heartthrob is the newest album, but no, it's
Yep.
more than
Miriam,
10 years.
isn't that when you became a fan
Yeah, that's why.
with that album? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was, I wish I would have included Get Along because I liked the whole
Yeah.
book. I mean, not the book, the video, on and at, and was that all
It
part of
was
Together? Nat and Get Along was kind of all,
um
no, on and at was after Sainthood.
On and at was before, and then they did the Get Along, the DVD with the movies and stuff. They for me they are very close. They're almost the same project because it was one right after the other, and they weren't releasing albums at the time. They were releasing these different projects. That's why I thought it was weird they didn't say anything, because I would think that the experience with doing different things other
Yeah.
than music, they would mention it.
Yeah,
but
it
they
seems like they
didn't.
could have mentioned a little bit of it, but it makes sense that they didn't like do an entire section on it or anything.
Because
Just
it's
because,
not exactly an album.
yeah, it's not like a studio album
Mhm.
original. So it makes sense, but yeah,
Yeah. Move on.
I don't have anything else.
Let's go.
When the record came out, journalists
Next one is Boyfriend.
like why we couldn't just be happy with what we had. Like, why did we have to switch genres? And why did we talk so openly about wanting more? You know, we were to this new summit. But Love You to Death was a reaction to that. It was like, okay, get control of this again. We're not going to be told what to do. We're not going to go to 3 radio station visits a day. We are not going to play the game. I think it just was a different kind of pop record.
Tell you that I love you, that I can't hold back. Turn me on like you were your boyfriend. I don't wanna be your secret anymore.
I love this version of Boyfriend more than the original one.
No.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't like it.
I loved
Shocking.
it.
Unbelievably shocking, huge.
I was gonna say that similar to Closer.
No, I loved it.
I mean, Boyfriend is my favorite song. So like the original version
That's
is,
why.
but I do like the live version a lot. But this version, it's good, but it's not the original. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I like it.
It's very like, I like it because it's very like, I feel like I can play it for
It's like good
lounge.
lounge music.
Yeah, elevator music.
Well, not that, but yeah, kind of like very like, it's like a soft, like groovy.
It's almost like a trance,
Yeah,
trance
yeah,
when you
yeah.
listen to it. It's
Yeah.
nice.
I like it.
They said that there were fans that were really happy for them. Did I miss that? Because that time
I think from
period
all of
was-
us, you were there when like this happened from Sainthood to Heartthrob. They released this album and people were like, what the fuck
I
is going
agree.
on?
I was
I mean,
happy.
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
people were angry, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to it. This is
They were besides themselves.
I
Yeah.
remember hearing that from multiple people.
Mhm.
Multiple people that weren't even like big fans, like friends of mine that were like,
Mhm.
oh, they're so like, what? They're so different now, because those people were very indie rock elitist people, like these former friends of mine, maybe.
Mhm.
And so it was very much like, what did they do? They're selling out. Like, what is this? And I
Yes,
was like,
selling
oh,
out.
this is interesting. good for them. Like I was
The whole
excited.
Right then, it does make sense that people are like, what are you doing? You're playing with these people that you've never played before. You're going to these TV shows, you've never done that before. You're selling out, whatever. That it does look like that, but they wanted that. You know what I mean? And then as fans, you should be supportive of what the artist wants for themselves. You know, ultimately.
Tegan talked about here's a piece of art that you're going to connect to, maybe not right now, but maybe later. Because I think that's totally true. Like I don't think I really loved Heartthrob a lot when it first came out. So but I wasn't like, I'm like personally like feel violated and
right.
something.
That's the thing.
But-
Like people were like,
but-
you're betraying us. Like
I mean,
we're a fan.
like, but
As
I
if they
think
own them. Like,
yeah, it's an entitlement thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I could go on. There's lots of opinions I have about it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
so,
I was gonna
I
say
think
that.
it's like a thing that happens when you're a hardcore music fan about a particular artist or certain types of music. I think it's normal. If you're like really young, maybe it's more normal. But I feel like if you're an adult, like, can we just accept that you don't like the artist doesn't owe you something that you specifically are gonna love and connect with forever? Like if you really just connect with the con so strongly, just like keep listening to the con, it's still there. Like they were saying.
Anyway.
There are people who have been fans for a really long time who do feel like they owe them something. If we're being honest, that's how a lot of fans that have been around for a long time feel. Like we've stuck with you from the year 2000 or 2005 on, and you're doing this to us. Like, what about your loyal fans?
Yeah, they felt betrayed because it was like a small-ish band and now they're big, so there was a disconnection. They talked about it in an interview where like the fans felt like not connected to them as much anymore, and that hurts.
But here's the thing, I don't feel like their music is all that different. Like I feel like it's very Tegan and Sara everything. It might be different forms of them, but like I wasn't completely like shocked. I think it's been a good progression through. Like it's just
from album to album, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love artists and albums where like you can hear an album and you know that that's the album. Like there's a lot of other artists that have done that. You know, Bob Dylan was like that or is like that. If you're going to talk about a legacy artist, that like every album is so distinct that you don't get confused about what era a song's from. So they
not for
and
me.
then people during that time after Heartthrob came out, like people wanted to have music that sounded like that. Like, you know, Taylor Swift has cited that, you know, with 1989, and I know other artists did too, that they were inspired by Heartthrob. So
you know what I thought was interesting too is that Sara said that the fans, when they were mad, she almost, what did she say exactly? She almost liked it or
something good,
which is interesting because she would feel worried about press thinking those things about her, but not fans. Like she wanted to challenge the fans, you know, but press, she wants press to understand her, but she wants to challenge fans.
Yeah, I think that the press criticism and like industry, like cred is one thing, and like other artists is one thing, and she wants that support. And then maybe the fans being disappointed or questioning things or being upset or feeling betrayal, she probably is like, oh, good, we're doing something right.
I thought that was interesting. I just wanted to mention that because she kind of contradicted herself there.
I mean, I don't know. Aren't we all like walking contradictions?
Yeah, all the time.
Basically. And we change every single year.
Yes, exactly. And that's why you can't expect like, and that's the constant of Tegan and Sara is not their music, because their music, the constant is the change from Tegan and Sara.
The only true thing about life is that it changes. Everything changes. The only truth, basically. All right, shall we? Is this the last part?
Yeah.
Okay.
Heartthrob was the like sugar high. It was the like peak of madness, and Love You to Death is the come down. But to me, it's cancelable. Everything is changeable. Everything is temporary. And nothing is more important than our health, you know? And I think we finally get it. We finally get that.
I should start working on myself. Out of my control.
I'm Tegan.
And I'm Sara.
And you've been listening to Under My Control,
An Audible original, words and music production.
Woohoo!
I
We
cried.
made it.
Try to hide
Did
it.
That
Sara
last
make you
part,
cry?
like the
Do you need a minute?
No, it's fine.
I mean, Sarah's starting to cry. It's like,
No, I
I
cried
don't even.
because of Under My Control. It
Oh,
already makes me
or the
cry.
song.
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, the song is I think that one is the best on the
Yeah.
whole thing.
It's my favorite. It's
Yeah.
it's perfect. I wrote down chills, perfection, piano is like wow. I don't know.
No words, literally. Like,
No words, no words.
is
Just
it just voice and piano? That's it, right? Was
yeah.
there anything else? No.
No, that's
I don't
it.
think so.
And the piano feels like a grand piano. That's why
Yeah.
when I finished this, I was like, I need them to be sitting at a grand piano and singing.
I know. Well, I before this even came out, I had said to Debbie, I was like, they need to just like do them and piano, like a tour
Yep.
that's them with piano. Beautiful. Just so
Yes.
beautiful.
And
And
they
I love how it slowed down, like, you know, because the verse in that song is so fast and it's so
Yeah.
fast. Like
Yeah.
she was really messing up those lyrics because it goes so fast. I love how the arrangement on piano is slower and she spaces out the
Makes you feel the
lyrics.
words more.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
so
like
good.
I feel like
So
I
good.
listened to some of these lyrics for the first time listening to this
Yeah.
version
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's so fast. Like I don't really absorb the message fully
Yeah.
And
until this
when
version.
she says, I used to cry, but now I don't, or I used to walk out, now I don't, now I won't. It's just, oh, it hits you. I don't know. That was emotional at the end.
It
I
was
like
very
how
emotional.
Sid
She
has
opened,
changed their lives.
yes, totally.
Yeah.
And it explains a lot. Explains a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like that's going on
Right now.
like in their career and life and how they're reacting to social media and everything, you know. It makes
That's
sense.
true.
But what did you guys think of when Sarah's not where she's talking about her and Tegan, but instead of saying our lives, she's saying our life. And she's the one that has in the past apparently been the one that's like, I want to be different. I want to be separate. It's not us together, it's us separate. But she was talking about them as a
As
whole.
a unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think as
Yeah,
much
I
as
didn't
we would like to be separate, there's just no denying that there's like, you know, they're connected in a very particular way. And then with their band too, because Sid, you know, if you have like a you know, quote unquote normal career, like run of the mill career, it's not a big change if you have a kid necessarily. Like it's big, but it's not, you know, it's changed things in my family that when I had a kid, like I have a sibling, but like I don't have a twin who I run a business with, who I do everything with. So it's like, yeah, it's almost like, and they have talked about their, you know, professional partnership as like, you know, a marriage and their music being like their child. And so, I mean, it is kind of like bringing in this other thing that is just the biggest deal, you know?
Because
Um,
it means less touring, more focus on
yeah,
personal life and all of that.
Yeah.
And like basically it requires compromise from Tegan's part as well, not only like she
Mhm.
has to understand that, you know, this life needs adjusting, and she's welcome into that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was so touching. That whole
Yeah.
bit about
And how Sarah was scared about all of it, you know,
yeah.
and then
And
when
then
it
when
kind
she
of
saw
happened,
when she saw
Tegan,
Tegan, she like felt better. She felt,
yeah.
oh, it's gonna be okay.
I do want to mention that they didn't even mention Hey, I'm Just Like You as an album. They didn't say the title at all.
Nothing.
They did mention an album when
Yeah.
they did high school. They also did an album. They mentioned that, but they didn't talk about like the song specifically or production or anything like that, how the way they did for the other albums. And
I
this
know, and I
project,
love that
like
album.
you would think that they would mention it a little bit more, but they didn't.
I think it was their least sold album, and the pandemic ruined it for them, so they don't like to.
Well,
They mentioned high school a lot, and the songs
yeah.
are from high school, I guess, but I don't know.
I remember last fall at the Portland show in VIP, somebody asked about why aren't you playing Hey, I'm Just Like You songs in the set list, and they were just like, we kind of are like have been in that world with high school, you know,
remember so that.
long.
filming the show, and
Mhm.
so we were kind of like ready to like
Let's go.
move on from that era as they wanted to. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah,
They'll revisit it in time. They always revisit everything.
Yeah, hopefully. They were kind of forced not to do anything for it. So maybe that's why just naturally they don't want to, like, you know,
I don't
go
know,
back
but
to
I
it.
want them to.
I want,
love
yeah.
that album.
I really wanted to see these songs live, full band and everything. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I wanted to mention about Love You to Death. When they did Heartthrob, they went above and beyond. But for Love You to Death, they kind of slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, they
and I think that
prioritize themselves.
yeah, so I think that from Heartthrob beyond, they started to it was like the starting point from what they're at now about, you know, their personal lives and everything. I think that was they started to change their perspective about their career and everything.
Try to have like a healthier balance.
Yeah, exactly. They made it, you know. So now it's just like Tegan said, because she wants to, not because she has to. So
Hi, this is Jess. I'm sending Debbie this voice memo to answer a few questions that we didn't get to at the end of the podcast. In regards to Tegan's shocking rumor,
Unbelievably shocking, huge.
being possibly that they received their honorary doctorate degrees, that could be it, but I don't know. Who knows? There's probably some other shocking thing that they will do and reveal that will shock and amaze us all.
True that. Word.
The next question was, how long do you think it took to record the Audible Under My Control Words and Music episode? And they have since answered this question, or guessed that they recorded probably around 16 hours of interviews and then cut it down to 90 minutes. And that's incredible. I want all the tapes.
I'm so impressed.
I'm absolutely stunned.
It seems like the project as a whole would take many months to record initially the reimagined songs. I think they did that first. And then the interviews. And then the editing and the post-production is probably the longest process of it all. But I hope they recorded more songs. We were a little disappointed there was no Sainthood song, even though Sara gave Sainthood so much love in the Words and Music episode. My favorite songs that they reimagined are Under My Control and Where Does the Good Go? They were both just so unexpected and beautiful. I loved them. Made me very emotional. The biggest thing I learned when listening to this Words and Music episode was really something I learned about myself because of Sara's vulnerability and how she spoke about becoming a parent, and specifically, I mean, it was just so, it was so moving and accurate. And even though the details are different, I think that a lot of parents could relate to her story, as well as the parts where she talked about being physical and showing physical affection to people, and how uncomplicated it is with Sid. I just so relate to that, and I didn't even realize it's something I learned about myself listening, is that I really did the same thing. I struggled with giving that sort of love and receiving that love at times, and I don't with my child. And it's such a gift that she gives me. And yeah, I have to stop talking about it so I don't start crying. I'm such a crybaby. Okay, bye.
The first question is, do you think Tegan's shocking rumor is them getting the degree? I really don't know what I think Tegan's shocking rumor is. I haven't put a whole lot of thought into it because it just seems so crazy to think about all the possibilities. And, you know, I can get a little delulu with theories, so maybe, but I don't really know. The second question is, how long do you think it took them to record? Well, now we know the answer. It was 16 hours because I'm recording this after the fact, but I would have guessed a lot longer than that just because they can talk for so long and they have such a large body of work. So I would have guessed it took them a few days to do, but we know it was 16 hours. Favorite song and something that I learned. So my favorite song from the Audible was Under My Control. I thought it was so beautifully done. Just the instruments and the voices, and it was just so gorgeous, and Sara's voice sounds beautiful in it. As far as something I learned that I didn't know before, I'm not sure what I learned that I didn't know before. Maybe that Sara cries a lot. She seems to put on this I'm a badass front all the time, and I think she probably is a badass, but I think her being a mom has softened her up a lot more publicly, and so, you know, hearing her cry was like, oh, it made me cry. No lie. Because hearing her talk about her child, and then, you know, you think about how you feel about your child, and it's just like gut-wrenching. So maybe that.
Thank you very much for coming on the podcast, Jess and Julia. It was great.
Thanks so much for being here.
I really liked our conversation, and Tegan and Sara's podcast was great. It was a lot, but I'm glad we did it. You can find us. It was fun. I hope you liked being here, and I hope that the listeners also enjoyed our discussion. You can find us on Twitter, Wanna Talk TNS Pod. You can find us on, don't forget to subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We just want to talk. We're also on YouTube. I'm Debbie. You can find me on Twitter, not TNS Lyrics, and TikTok, Kuroko Debbie. You guys can share your handles if you want.
I think I am JSESS81. I think
On
I'm that
Twitter?
on everything. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Jess Ann Helton on everything.
Miriam, do you want to
Share?
Inflated
Gravy on everything.
I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
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 You have
I
all
don't
the
know.
editing power. You have
Yeah.
all the control.
That's the only control that you
You're
have
under
over me.
your control.
It's under Debbie's control.
Under
Under
my
the
my
bed.
control.
Under my control.
The Lulu theories.
And I was like, she's as old as your mom, so shut up.
Oh, a little bit closer.
Exactly.
Yes.
I
Where
thought
is
was
it from though? Like, why do you have a cape that has a Tegan and Sara flag
Yeah.
on it?
you said
Tegan
Tegan.
Sara flag?
It's Canada.
Did I say Tegan and Sara flag? Sorry,
Please, don't ever erase this.
I meant
Please.
Canada.
Go Debbie with me. Instead of go steady with
You
me.
have to start singing it like that now.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
What do you guys know about supplements? Do you know of any good supplements?